What's up, everyone? This is Shawn Smith, IFBB Pro and Animal Athlete. I'm here to take you through a typical day of my eating. It's my off season, so this is more of like a lean mass gain diet, if you want to call it that. I'm not a huge fan of like putting on sloppy weight, mainly because of health reasons. I just feel better at a lighter weight and keeping it lean, plus you look better too, so that's always a bonus. So my first 3 meals are actually the exact same. They're all chicken meals. So I usually start by, when I'm prepping, I like to store all my meats in big containers. That way when it's my meal time, I can just kind of scoop it out, measure it, and add whatever I need to, and then it's ready to go. Chicken breast is what I start with. So I start by trimming all the visible fat off of just raw chicken breast. I'll preheat the oven to 450. I'll put it on baking sheets, throw it in there for about 35 minutes, and then it comes out like this. One thing I do a bit different than everyone else, I've never seen anybody else do this, but I actually put my chicken breast in a food processor. And I started doing this because I just got tired of chewing on dry chicken breast. I'm sure you guys can relate. Nothing is worse than having like a huge plate of food in front of you, having no appetite and having to chew on a bunch of dry chicken. So I thought, why not save some chewing time, throw it in a food processor, it just makes it easier to get down. So I bake a bunch of chicken, I throw it all in a food processor. And it comes out nice and shredded. So I'll just throw it in a big food container like this. And again, I'll fill this up with all the chicken that I baked. And when it's time to eat, I'll just grab my bowl, my scale, so meals 1 through 3 calls for 230 grams of chicken breast. And I do weigh all my food out to the gram, just cause. So this is about what 230 grams of shredded chicken looks like. So my carb source, my main carb source in the off season is infant rice cereal. This is also really easy to get down, as opposed to just white rice, because again, that can get kind of dry. So you obviously buy this in the baby aisle. And I'll do 75 grams of this with the 230 grams of chicken. Nutritional yeast, just for a little bit of flavor, but also because chicken breast doesn't really contain a whole lot of vitamins and minerals in it, so it's not really a nutrient dense food. So this will just add a lot of B vitamins. Sprinkle some of that in there. I do not measure that, and I will not use this during contest prep. So I mix all this together. I know everyone is saying this is so bizarre, but really it's really easy to eat, and it works for me. So I keep doing it. So I add about a cup of water to this bowl. And I'll throw it in the microwave for about 2.5 minutes. So let that go. So along with this meal, I'll have 2 slices of Ezekiel bread. So this will just give me a little bit of extra fiber for digestion. Get ready. And I'll also usually do about a cup of greens. Sometimes I do kale, sometimes I do collard greens, turnip greens, sometimes I do spinach. But I like to add some type of vegetable to every meal, just for the vitamins, minerals, also the added fiber. So I usually get big bags of greens, and then I'll just throw them on baking trays, usually about 450 for about 10 to 12 minutes, and then I'll just throw it in a container. Again, just for convenience, so when it's mealtime, I can just grab this container, and then I can just warm this up. But waiting on the chicken to finish here. I'll go ahead and take it out. So I'll add the greens in. I usually season my food with just some pepper. Also a little bit of cayenne. I like spicy food. I'll add hot sauce. This is Texas Pete, but I don't really like it. I need something a little stronger. And then the 2 slices of Ezekiel bread. So if you want to zoom in on this here. So this is meal 1, 2, and 3. So with meal 1, I usually throw in an animal pack to get my vitamins and minerals covered. With meal 2, I'll usually throw in some animal omega for omega-3 fatty acids. And for meal 3, which is my pre-workout meal, I'll do animal pump, which is just creatine and has things in it that promotes blood flow for a good pump. So that is meals 1 through 3. Okay, so pretend I just got through training, coming home, I'm super hungry, I'm gonna eat my post-workout meal. Want something fast digesting, easy on the stomach. Boom, infant rice cereal again. So, you know, a lot of people do the cream of rice, but I hate fooling with that stuff because, you know, you measure it out and put your water in, you'll put it in the microwave, and then you'll cook it for a couple minutes, but it'll still be like water and cream of rice at the bottom. And then you put it in for like 30 more seconds and it turns into concrete. And then it's like molten lava, and then you have to like sit there and wait 15, 20 minutes for it to cool down. So if you use this, it's so much easier. So post-workout, I do 120 grams of infant rice cereal, and I'll do 2 scoops of animal whey. This is brownie batter. I think it's the best flavor. My wife agrees. Highly recommend the brownie batter. So, this meal gives about a little over 50 grams of protein and a little bit over 100 grams of carbs. So I mix this up, and I guess you could add or subtract water to make the consistency that you want. I don't like mine too soupy. So the only thing I add to this is 100 grams of frozen blueberries. So I usually just dump that in there, but since I'm not eating it now, I'm just gonna store these for later. So this is my post-workout meal. Okay, we're on meal number 5 of 6. Meal number 5 is just beef and rice. So I use a lean cut of beef. This is London broil. So what I'll do is I'll trim this of all visible fat. I'll throw it on a baking sheet, 450 for 35 minutes. I'll put it in the food processor, and it ends up looking like dog food. So yeah, not very appetizing, but for anyone who's cooked like really lean beef, it's like chewing on shoe leather. So again, throwing it in the food processor just helps you get it done easier. Not that it really tastes bad, but it's just, it can be tough if you don't do that. So I'll do 230 grams of lean beef. And sometimes if they're out of London broil, I'll use like a 96.4 ground beef. And just do the same thing. Just bake it in the oven and throw it in the food processor. So 230 grams lean beef. And then I'll actually use white rice with this meal. I tried using the infant rice with this meal, and it just didn't taste very good, and it looked weird too. So, so I'll use actually a sushi rice, a really short grain Japanese rice, and I recommend this because it tends to stay a lot more moist than like a lot of people use jasmine, and that just gets really dry, and I just don't like it. And this is just easier to get down. It's stickier. It just tastes better. So this is 120 grams of dry rice that I put in here, and I'll just keep it in here until I need it. It just stays warm for me. So 120 grams dry rice. I think that's about 330 cooked. And then again, reach in my greens container here, throw some on the plate. I don't weigh my vegetables in the off season. I'll throw some hot sauce on top. With condiments, I usually keep it pretty simple. Usually hot sauce or mustard, and then I'll throw like black pepper on top. Occasionally I'll add some salt to meals. It really kind of depends on how I'm looking, how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling a bit flat, I might add a sprinkle or two. But this is meal 5, beef and rice. All right, we're on the last meal of the day. So my carb source is oats. I eat oats my last meal because it's a little bit slower digesting because it has a lot of fiber in it. So I'll do 85 grams of oats. And I'll actually make this several hours before I eat it because I don't cook it. I just mix it with 2 scoops of the whey protein here and some water, and then I'll leave it in the fridge. People call it overnight oats, but it just softens it up. So 85 grams of oats, 2 scoops of whey protein. I should have put more water in here. Really easy meal to get down. I'm not finished yet though. So I actually also do sardines and sauerkraut. And I know everybody's going, ew, that's so gross. Sardines, that's disgusting. But you'll do like donut cheeseburgers and shit, so don't talk. So I do a can of sardines, mainly because of the omega-3 fatty acid content. And then I'll also do sauerkraut. And that's just for probiotics, helps with my digestion. And again, I'll just kind of like eyeball that. So yeah, super weird food combination, but you know, I eat for function, not for taste. Even though I really don't mind the taste of sardines and sauerkraut. But I'll also throw in some animal PM right before I go to bed. This stuff really helps me sleep. You just get a deep, restful sleep the entire night. So meal number 6, oats and whey, sardines and kraut. So that was my meal prep, and that's what I eat in a day in the off season currently. For anyone wondering, that totals to be around 4,700 calories total, about 800 calories each meal. I did that on purpose. It's about 440 grams of protein total, about 520 grams of carbs, and 84 grams of fats. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my meal prep. Maybe you picked up on some ideas that you want to use in yours. See you later.